All right, mathletes, here's a little bonus quiz review. I'm going to go over this for you guys as you're getting yourself ready for tomorrow's test. All right, so you can see these live. Fast forward, pause, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to go over all these problems for you guys. So on number 1, I'm solving for n. So I'm going to move my 2n, so opposite with minus 2n. And I'm going to get negative 3 is equal to 63 plus 6n. Then I'll subtract 63. And we'll get negative 66 equals 6n. And then we'll divide by 6. And n equals negative 11. So that one's just solving using good old algebra skills. All right, number 2, solve for t. I know a lot of you guys want to see this one, so here we go. P times all this stuff in the parentheses. It's being multiplied. So I can undo it with division. So once I've undone that, I'm just going to leave it as a divided by p is equal to 1 plus rt. Now I want to get t alone, so I have to get rid of this 1 first, and then I'll divide by r at the end. So we get rid of this by subtracting 1, again just using our algebra deal. Now these are not like terms. A over p is not a like term with a 1. So we're going to say a over p minus 1, we're just telling me what you did, is equal to r times t. So you're saying, oh, hey, I took a, I divided by p, and I subtracted it all by 1. Now, if I want to divide this r away, when I divide a number, it's the same thing as me multiplying into the denominator. So here's my denominator, and I can create a denominator over here. So if I divide by r to get rid of that, I can just put r into the denominator, which is showing I'm dividing by r. And so then that leaves our final answer as t equals a over rp, or you could say pr minus 1 over r. All right. So this one I want to write in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We've got our slope and our y-intercept. So that means I need to solve it out for y. So if I'm going to solve for y, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5x and put it onto the other side. So then I get negative 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 12, because I can't put those two things together. And then I'm going to divide by a negative 2 on all of these terms. So that's by dividing negative 2 on both sides. So then I get y is equal to 5 over 2x minus 6. So that would be our slope-intercept form here. So I can put that down here, y equals 5 over 2x minus 6. And we can graph that. Remember, our starting point is on the y-intercept. So at negative 6, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go up 5 and right 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and right 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and right 2. And then you can go ahead and connect those dots. And boom, we graphed it. All right, so let's look at this next one here. Put this equation into slope-intercept form. So again, we're just solving out for y. So I'm going to add 4x, got to get rid of that x term. So negative 3y is equal to, I'm going to put the 4x first so it resembles the mx plus b better. And then we will divide by negative 3. So then we get y equals negative 4 over 3x plus 8. And that would be our slope-intercept form. You can put that where the answer box is. All right, here we go. So solve each inequality. It says for y, but in this case, you'll solve for x and graph. All right, so anytime we've got an inequality, we've got a shade. So I'm going to get rid of this plus 3 by subtracting 3. So then we'll get x is less than or equal to negative 4. So remember, when it's x in a number by itself, it's a vertical line. So all this is going to be is a vertical line at negative 4. I'm going to make it solid because I have an additional line underneath, okay? That or equal to makes it a solid line. And then where we shade, this is x is less than, so my numbers get less or smaller as I go left on the x-axis. So I'm going to shade everything over here. Clearly I wasn't great at coloring. Can't stay in the lines. Happens. All right, so this one's got x's and y's, so let's get that into y less than or greater than mx plus b. So let's get rid of this 3x. Negative 3y is greater than 2x minus 9, and then we'll divide by that negative 3. And we'll get y is not greater than anymore because we divided with a negative 3. So that negative makes us flip the sign, and then we'll get negative 2 over 3x plus 3. And we can go ahead and graph that. So notice there's no or equal to here. So that means we're going to have a dashed line. So starting at 3, we're going to go down 2 because it's negative and right 3. Down 2, right 3. All right, up to left 3 to go the opposite way, up to left 3. And we're going to go ahead and make a little dashed line for that. And let's check out our shading. So it says less than, so I'm going to go from my y-intercept and drop. This is my section that is less. So we're going to shade. Let's try it this way. There you go. All right, page 2. So on this one, when I'm graphing, I'm going to go ahead and just put this into my calculator. So I'm going to put it in like this. I'm going to put some parentheses in around my fraction. And when you graph that in that Calculate 84 app, you'll see a graph that looks like this and this. Ooh, I'm off a little bit. Maybe more like this. Okay, so your graph should look something like this. And there's a crossing up here. So here are the steps on how you find that crossing. Well, we can tell that there's only one solution, right? So now if I want to know what the actual solution is, which I think I'll probably ask, you're going to type in second, trace, then 5 for intersect. Then it's going to ask left bound. So you're just going to click left until you're left of the point of crossing. So you might click left until it makes a little line like this. And then it's going to click right bound, and you're going to click the right button until it brings you to the right of that intersection. You're just going to create boundaries essentially for your calculator to find where they cross. And once you do that, it'll tell you that your intersection here is at negative 3, 1. So on this one, I would do the same thing, but what you guys are going to notice is that both of those lines, there we go, both of those lines are going to lie on top of one another, okay? Because they are the exact same. So because they're the exact same solution, that means they're going to cross at literally every single point. So that means that there are infinitely many solutions, and you can use that infinity sign to show that. My favorites, substitution and elimination. Here we go, number 9. So number 9 is set up for substitution, and I can know that because y is by itself. So that means what I can do is take all of this and just substitute it for the y in the other equation. So I'll go 7x minus 5y equals negative 6, but instead of y, I'm going to say y is this. So we're going to put in negative 5x plus 14. And then we can go ahead and distribute through 7x plus 25x minus, ooh, I should have had my calculator ready. Minus, let's see, 70 is equal to negative 6. And then I'm going to combine like terms right here. So that's going to get me 32x minus 70 is equal to negative 6. Then I'll add the 70, our little two-step. And 32x is equal to 64. And then divide by 32. X equals 2. All right, so we are halfway there. Once I know that x is 2, with substitution, I always go back to this one, okay, because it's already set up y equals negative 5, and instead of x, I'm going to put that 2 we just solved for, and then plus 14. Okay, so notice I'm just plugging it into that first equation. And y equals negative 5 times 2 is negative 10, plus 14 is 4. So now we have an x and a y. Our final solution is the coordinates using both x, y. Elimination, good old elimination. All right. So on this one, there's not one equation that we can multiply to. So I can't take 6 and multiply it by something to get to 10 and vice versa. I can't take 7 and multiply to get to 8 and vice versa. So that tells me we have to multiply both equations. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply this bottom one by 8, because that's going to do 7 times 8 is 56. And then guess what? I can do 8 times 7. Let me use a different color. I've been feeling like this is ending up being Christmas themed, so I'm just going to lean in. But here's the thing I'm going to change. If I do 8 times negative 7, I get negative 56. If I do 7 times negative 8, I also get negative 56. I like to have one be negative and one be positive so that I can add the equations every time. That's a personal preference. You guys could do this and subtract them, but I know that a lot of times when I subtract a negative, I mess up. All right? So I'm going to just make one of these negatives so that I'll have one negative and one positive when I want to eliminate, and I can add the equations. So I'll multiply through negative 7 times 10, negative 70x plus 56y is equal to negative 140. And then we'll multiply the bottom. 6 and 8 went on a date, and now they're 48. Minus 56y is equal to 184. All right. So now I can add them. And I can add them because these are the same, but with opposite signs. So now I'll add everything else. So negative 70 plus 48 is 22x. And that's going to equal to negative 140 plus 184 is 44. Oop, my mistake. I apologize. Negative 70x plus 48 is negative 22. All right, and so now we can divide with that negative 22. And x is equal to negative 2. Now I'm going to do what we did before. I'm going to pick one and plug it in. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So let's do the second one just for kicks. 6 times x, but now x is negative 2, minus 7y is equal to 23. And now we just solve for y. So 6 times negative 2, negative 12 minus 7y equals 23. Add the 12 and balance. Negative 7y is equal to 35. Divide by negative 7 on both sides. And y equals negative 5. And so then our final answer, negative 2, comma, negative 5 in coordinates. All right, last couple are about graphing. So we're going to start here. Let's do some color coordination. This is my fave. All right, we're going to start with this one. Y is greater than negative 4. So if it's y in a number by itself, it's a horizontal line. So I'm going to go down to negative 4 on the y-axis, and I'm going to draw a dashed line. And the reason it is dashed is because there is no or equal to under that little guy. All right, now this says y is greater than -4, so we're going to shade above. Ooh, nice. Okay, so remember guys, what that means is this no longer matters, okay? We're essentially just narrowing down our options. All right, so let's look at the next one. We'll do that one in red. So this is in mx plus b form. So we're going to start at 5. And we're going to go down to right 3 because of that negative. So down to right 3, down to right 3. We can even go backwards and go up to left 3. And I'm also going to have a dashed or dotted line here because there is no or equal to again. And this one says y is less than. So I'm going to go below that line where normally I would do all of this. Remember, I don't care about you right here because we're just looking for overlap. So I'm going to do less than here, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there on my other boundary. Okay, so our final answer, make sure that you guys are going back and letting us all know where your final answer is. Your final answer is this section in the middle here for this one. All right, here we go, last one. So we're going to start over here. X is greater than or equal to -2. So remember, it's x by itself, so that's a vertical. So we're going to go to -2, and this one gets a solid line because it is or equal to. And it says x is greater than. My x's get greater as I go to the right. Can you guys tell that I'm an artist? That was a joke. All right. So everything over here is fair game. We no longer care about what's going on over here. We're just going to kind of narrow this section down into our final area. All right, so this next one, y is greater than -4x plus 2. So we're going to start at 2. And it's a -4, so I'm going to go down 4 and right 1. Down 4 and right 1. We can go opposite and go up 4 and left 1. And this one will be a solid line because of that or equal to on the inequality. Okay. And this one says greater than, so we're going to take everything above that line here. So notice, guys, we have now narrowed down that area just a little bit further. So only where blue and red have overlapped can be a solution at this point, but we still have one more equation to jump in. So this little section will get smaller. So let's add our last equation. Let's go green. All right, so starting at -1, we are going to go up 4 and right 5. All right, down 4 to go the opposite way and left 5. And this one is not a solid line, so this one should be dashed. And this says y is greater than, so we're going to shade above. So above that line, the only place we care about is where we've already received overlap. So it's just going to be in this section. Okay, so again, I'm just going to finalize my area that I care about. Anything in here is a part of that solution to the system. Anything on this line is a solution. Anything on this line is not, because it is not a solid line. All right, I hope that helped you guys. Good luck studying tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.